Hello, everybody. Today we are going to have a study live stream. So, I am going to be looking at some positions that I've received as homework by my coach. In all of these positions, we need to find the best continuation for whichever color it is to play. Some of these positions are taken from my games, and some of them are from games of Grandmasters, some of them are compositions. Well, no, actually, probably all of them are from games. And the first one that I have here in front of me, I actually recognize as a position that I got from a game that I played in on chess.com, and this was a rapid game. And I remember this position in particular because this was something that I played from e4. And for those of you who know a little bit about me, I'm not an e4 player. So this was kind of a game that I played a little bit for fun. But it got quite interesting here. So the positions that I've received from my coach are in general positions where we need to find weaknesses, and based on the weaknesses we need to find the plans. So a little bit like the video that I just posted about chess mind, it's this similar concept but not through chess mind, I guess. Oh, hello Alib, hello Abdel. Yes, I am feeling a little bit better. I am still ill, my nose is blocked, maybe you can hear it, and but I am doing better. I think today we'll do 2 hours of live stream. It depends on how it goes. But nevertheless, this is the first position. And in general, the main weaknesses we want to be looking for is going to be weak squares, weak pawns or pieces, and hooks. So in general, things that we can attack or that we can use to open up more lines for our pieces. So, okay, in this position, I'm noticing, first of all, that the d5 square is somewhat weak. Because, of course, there is a backward pawn in front of it. It cannot be attacked by any other pawn. So it could be an outpost in the future. Peter, what do you think about the Sicilian Neo-Boleslavsky variation? I do not know that variation. Is that a thing? Okay, so that is a possible weakness, but one thing that I've learned thanks to my coach is that a weakness is only such if you can actually use it. Now this square is attacked 1, 2, 3 times, meaning that I don't know if this is actually the weakness. Now, of course, we do need to keep in mind the fact that our rook is hanging, and we also need to keep in mind the fact that there is some pressure on the e pawn right now. So, okay, one thing that I'm thinking we need to consider here is taking the knight. So that's kind of an active way of getting rid of this threat. Taking the knight, and after that we're also weakening a little bit the control of the d5 square once the knight is not there. Of course, queen takes is the only move there. I don't see why we should consider anything else. And now the question becomes, after the queen takes back, can we afford to jump in? Let's have a look. So we jump in, let's say knight takes, pawn takes, and bishop takes. And now after bishop takes, we actually might have this bishop sacrifice, king takes, and the queen picks up the bishop. The b4 pawn is not well defended, no? Let's see. Yeah, I guess so, but it's not a big problem right now, I don't think. Because if we take the knight, which is what I'm leaning towards right now, we are the ones with the initiative. And if we can blockade d5, then this is never going to be a thing. It is true that the queen is going to be on b6 though. So maybe do need to take note of that. Oh, but then also once we jump in with knight d5, the queen is going to be defending b4, sorry. someone is saying h6. Remember that we're playing for white, and h6 is already on the board. Hello, Abdallah. So, hmm. I don't want to play out the moves already because I think it's very important to visualize this. Someone says, I would prefer if you move your rook up one square. That's interesting, actually. That's a very out of the box way of trying to add control to d5, which seems to be the main point of this position. We could maybe actually do that after we take the knight, although if we take, queen takes, and rook up, then this pawn falls, and I'm not sure that that's a good option. So, okay, what if rook up, adding control? But there's nothing concrete there, though. I don't think there's anything concrete there. Can black somehow kick that rook out? You know what? Maybe there isn't a way, and then we can come rook fa1 and add pressure on a6. That could actually be. You could actually be right, man. You could actually be right. Hmm. Someone says bishop takes b6, then knight to d5. Yeah, that's what I was calculating. That's what I was thinking of. So bishop takes, queen takes, knight to d5, and I was trying to figure out if this is actually, worth it. Because probably the knight is going to take, pawn takes, bishop takes, and after this, I was pointing out that we have this sacrifice on h7, and we can pick up this bishop, and then we are blockading d5, and b4 is still defended, and we find ourselves in a situation where in the future we might be able to reroute this knight around, somehow land on d5, we maintain the blockade on d5, and we can start using our rooks. And it's actually pretty much impossible to get this bishop into the game. So you know what? That might actually be it. That might actually be it. So let's play it out. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight jumps in. The knight cannot be allowed to survive there. It's also attacking the bishop, so I think this has to be the move. Takes, takes. We do lose a pawn. We do lose a pawn here, which is something that I hadn't considered. But okay, let's see. Sacrifice, pick up the bishop. We have this blockade on d5 now, which is definitely relevant. I don't see a simple way to kick this queen out, but I also don't see an evident way to gain our pawn back. Black is simply up a pawn here, guys. Someone said, take the knight, then queen e2. So after we... What do you mean by take... Oh, okay. Also, after taking this knight, queen e2. I don't like this. I don't see what we're trying to achieve. I guess you're trying to add pressure on a6. Is that your point? I don't know. Instinctively, this doesn't feel right to me. But we do lose a pawn here, which I don't know if we can justify it enough. It is true that we might be able to win the d6 pawn in the future, or a6 after something like rook here. So let's say that now maybe black, I don't know, well, that blunders a pawn. Wait, what does black do? I guess maybe play f5. Try to get some activity like that. Now we can also kind of maybe come in. Okay, well, there's no need to do that right away. We can just activate this. And we have some nice pressure, yes, but we are down a pawn. Can't shake the feeling that this might not be... Also, we could, maybe actually we could go here. There's some more pressure here. Yeah, queen b5 and the restrictions on the bishop would go away, I think. Wait. Oh, queen b5. So, wait, when do you mean that? Queen b5 here, probably, right? Good spot. Yeah, well spotted. I think that you're right. Although we might have... No, we don't have this move because he picks up another pawn. I was thinking this, and of course if the queen takes, we maintain the blockade with the rook now. But black can just take the pawn. Yeah, yeah, you guys are right. Try bishop and queen combination after capturing the knight. What do you mean? Well, we can't do that unless we take the knight first. So we have to land in this position. That's the issue. Queen e4 check. When do we have... Oh, we do have queen e4 check later, but what for? Oh, you mean to escape queen b5? I see. But then I think there's this though, right? And there's still the attack on the rook. Yeah, no, it's not worth for a pawn sacrifice. Now black has the entire control of the center. So this is not it. Interesting. Then we might have to go back to something that we thought about earlier. You know what? Now that I think about it, when I was in the game, my main concern was that I was trying to get this knight here into the game somehow. And if we could find a way for this knight to add pressure to d5, that would be amazing. But realistically, that's never going to happen because the attack points of d5 are this, here, 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 here. These are all squares that are not accessible in any way for this knight. Right? I guess... Oh yeah, this is something that I had thought about in the game, trying to come here to f5. But I believe that this fails to this, because now there's an attack on this knight. And let's say something like this takes... Oh, although now we have take here. But maybe he can take here first. Takes, and now takes. Yeah, I don't see a way that we're not just losing here, right? Also, I'm forgetting that the rook is simply hanging. So after this, my opponent can also just go here. So that's something that it's important to keep in mind. Someone says king h4. Oh, knight h4. Yeah, no, knight h4 I think fails to a bunch of stuff. Either taking here or taking in the center, and then there's a discovery attack on the knight. Maybe you needed to be more patient and go after opponent a pawn. Yes, I am the fools would resign guy. The other knight can go up instead. How? What do you mean? Go up right away, but there's just too much control on that square. Also, this knight can simply take us. So I want to reinvestigate a move that was suggested by someone earlier, which was rook a5. Rook a5 adds some control like this, gets out of the attack, and we are preparing rook fa1, and there's going to be 3 attackers on that pawn. Although, whenever we remove an attacker, a defender from e4, we risk losing e4. So what I mean is this. Let's say now a move like... What could be a move for black here? Let's say queen c7, okay? And I play rook fa1. And now I'm attacking here. The issue is, let's say random move, and I take here. I believe that black can actually get away with taking here now, because there are 2 attackers, right? And this is a far more valuable pawn than the one here on the side. You guys are saying knight d5, but that loses the rook. With the knight on e4, you can capture the d6 pawn and get the material back. However, the b6 pawn does feel quite weak now. I'm really not worried about b6, because this pawn push is realistically never going to happen. Yeah, no, knight h4 is discarded. And someone is saying bishop takes h6. Uh I don't know if we have enough firepower to justify something like this, honestly. I think that black here is just winning. Um yeah. I mean, even something like this, the knight is always defending there. I think that that's just losing for white. So guys, what are we thinking? This is tough. This is really tough. Oh, wait a second. Someone said pawn to b5. That's something that I've not thought about. Although after b5 we do lose the rook. And after this, I mean, what are we trying to do here? Yeah, no, I don't think this works. We do need to do something about this. So I'm going back to this, and maybe we don't go up, but we do something like that. What about now b5? No, Bob, this is not a tactic. This is a position from a game that I've played and that my coach has given to me as an exercise. So I have a bunch of positions here. I don't know if we're going to go through all of them, but as part of my road to champion, I am trying to get better at chess. And so I've been given this as homework to study these positions and figure them out. Now, we are spending a lot of time on this position, so maybe I'll cut it short. I'll just write down. Wait, how can I do this? How can I write down a couple of notes about this? I can do it here probably as a comment. So what move are we settling on? And it's not necessarily just a move. I think that I need to explain like what the idea is. Maybe we do take the knight there because we're trying to weaken d5. And then rook fa1 right away, and we're arguing that we have nice pressure on a6. Someone says you don't have to take on a6 ever, the rook is just good on a5. I mean, yeah, but we could say the same about this position. The rook is good on a4. And we got rid of a knight that was... Wait, maybe you're right. Maybe the rook is just good on a5. What does black do here? Wait, I just spotted something interesting actually. Check this out. I don't know if it makes sense, but there's a fork here at the end. But then we also pick up the rook here. So yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. Maybe you're right. Maybe rook a5 is just kind of the positionally good move. And we maintain the bishop pair. We add control to d5. It doesn't mean that we have to do something right away. And maybe now that the rook is not under threat anymore, we can reconsider our idea of going knight h4. Although it doesn't work right away, but it could work in the future. Maybe you guys are right. I also just thought of something else. This is the last thing I'm going to say about this position before we move on. My elo is 2060, I think, right now. I'm just thinking of something else here. I'm thinking takes, queen takes, and g4, and try to use h6 as a hook. But he might be able to actually reply with g5. Yeah, no. Okay, I'm gonna write down rook a5 as the move. So let's do that here. Comment rook a5, adding control to, oops, what happened there? Adding control to d5 and adding pressure on the a file. I think that's a reasonable answer. I'll let you guys know what the coach says about this. Yeah, no, of course we want to keep the dark square bishop like that. Relax and sing some songs for us. Do you guys know? Well, you probably don't, but I actually am a singer. Um, but that's a story for another time. Let's go to the next position. Okay, something new, something fresh. Now, keep in mind, these positions come from my games. Some of them, not all of them. So, for example, I don't necessarily recognize this one. Although, I do have a feeling that this might be from one of my games. I just can't remember. Could be, could not be. I don't know. Remember, your pawn hangs upon bishop c6, so maybe it will be sharp to calculate g4. I'm sorry, but we're gonna need some proof for the singer part. Well, you guys can actually listen to my music. It's everywhere. Okay, I'll just show you this very quickly. You guys are the first ones to see this. That's me. That's one of my songs. Not quite as many views as I do with chess. Then I did this song. This one is mine. And this one. Not only I sang these, I wrote them and produced them. Salvadeco says I was here. Yes, you were, man. Let us hear it. This might sound silly, but I think it's an actual concern. I am going to get copyright striked by my own music. I don't want that. If I play my music in the live stream, YouTube is going to think that I'm stealing someone's work. I need to figure out if I can actually do that in some kind of way that doesn't get me striked. What do you think about your music? I love my music. I am very proud of it. I'm very proud of what I've done. I did everything on my own, so I don't care that it has no listens and no plays. I'm very proud of it. But you know, sometimes some dreams need to be let go of, or at least they need to be put on pause. Okay, guys, come on. Let's look at this position now. We're in a chess live stream, not music live stream. You can listen to my music on your own. You saw the titles. Thank you, Tugrul. Thank you for the love from Nepal. All right. Wow, not a lot of people likes to study chess. Far less viewers than usual, but that's fine, because the few of us that are here are going to improve today. Let's look at the next position. Can you say the name of the channel? Yes, you saw it. Is Pietro. It's just my name. But you're not going to find it if you just look up my name. You need to look up the names of the songs that I search for. So it's one song is called Nicotine, one song is called I Hear the Rain, and one song is called I Wrote a Song. So you can listen to those and let me know what you think. All right. So the first thing that we want to notice here is the fact that we have some nicely placed bishops here. We are opposite side castled. So the first thing that comes to mind is just a pawn storm, honestly. And interestingly, I'm thinking of g4. Oh wait. Oh, this is black to move. Sorry guys, we need to turn this around. It is black to move. Yes. Oh, okay. Ah, that's interesting. Okay, well, in that case, my first instinct is actually to go knight e5 and try to trade the knight for bishop. And the bishop either has to move to an uncomfortable square. So let's say knight here. If bishop here, we can... Well, if we take... What are we actually achieving? This is kind of a useless exchange. Hmm. Although I guess his bishop is better than ours. And if he goes back, we've managed to advance the knight a little bit. But this doesn't feel very concrete, I guess. Now another option is to consider the minority attack here. So just kind of storming down on the queen side. For those of you who were suggesting for the white side, we're playing for black. No. Guys, we're looking at... we don't have to prevent bishop h7. Be careful, because after this, if the bishop takes, the rook cannot actually take our bishop. We're defended. It could be annoying, though, having to deal with bishop g5. Because then if that bishop trades itself, this sacrifice all of a sudden works. Although whenever bishop g5 happens, we can bring one of the rooks to the 8. Also, guys, h6 gives a hook to white. And then white might be able to start some kind of kingside storm with the pawns. Put the rooks on better columns. Could do, but I mean... Okay, let's say that we play, for example, rook f to the 8. What is that rook actually doing? You know, just because a rook is on an open file, I don't know if necessarily it is that we have achieved something. We can always do that later, you know? And since these are positions that my coach has selected as, you know, exercises, I feel like we need to go for something more concrete, if that makes sense. Which we didn't really do. We didn't really do that in the last position. So I feel like that maybe was a mistake. Hello, Pranesh. Welcome. How about h5? No, again, we're just giving... Like, what does h5 achieve? What I don't see what h5 achieves. We're helping white creating a hook to open up our king side. What I am thinking is something like a6 and b5, and basically storm down with the pawns, open up the king, and then start an attack on this side. But of course, we need to think about what would be white's reply. So I think that after a6, the move that makes the most sense is bishop g5, trying to go for that tactic that we talked about. And to be fair, we might actually play now h6. Because if takes and takes, and the bishop sacrifices itself, it doesn't win a pawn. So that wouldn't make any sense. So a6, let's say bishop here, h6, bishop back. I don't want to push g5 because then we really give a hook to white. So maybe after bishop h4, we go now b5. That seems like an option. Why did we discard 95 again? Ah, yeah, because... Wait, if the bishop comes here, this actually might be good for us, you know? Wait a second. Maybe 95 was the better move all along, because... Okay, if bishop back, as I said earlier, we managed to kind of unravel our pieces a little bit. Now the bishop is better placed, this knight is more active and advanced. We can even jump here in the future. If the bishop comes for the trade, so for example here, and we do trade, we're getting rid of a bad bishop against a good bishop. We can still come here in the future. We can gain a free move here. The knight comes back. This actually seems quite promising. Why did I discard this? I don't remember. What do we guys think of 95? Try to minimize trades, something like 97 or 95. Well, 95 does trade. If we go, you know, knight d5, knight takes, pawn takes, we're not really achieving anything there. Actually, a6 and 95 looks good. Yeah, I'm thinking 95 right away. Someone says get rook d8 first. I explained that earlier, that I don't think that rook d8 achieves anything anything important. So the other thing that I want to think about after 95 is, what if white actually leaves us the bishop and let's say goes here, and if we take and rook takes, now there's this threat, but now we can actually just activate the bishop and go here. And let's say that the bishop does take. Now, yes, the king is open, but realistically, how is white going to exploit this? Oh wait, that loses the rook. So actually maybe something like this. And now start a storm, but we have the bishop. Yeah, this is probably headed towards a draw. But you know, the solution might be that this is the way to play for a draw. I'm gonna say 95 for this one. Agreed? Yeah, but guys, you need to also think that if you go rook d8, first of all, it's not obvious which rook wants to go to d8. I'm leaning towards the f rook, but we're giving a move to white. Like now this knight is pinned. And okay, let's say that we go here. Can actually white take here first? We can take with check. Let's say rook takes, we take. White doubles. I don't like this. Abdel says knight g4. Yeah, knight g4 is interesting actually. Knight g4 is pretty interesting. But there is this sacrifice now. And we lose a pawn. Someone says pawn e5, got it. e5 is actually, you know what? e5 is actually interesting. I'll give you some credit. e5 is interesting because we're opening up the bishop. We're getting more control of the center. We're creating an outpost on d4 possibly. We can reroute to e6. Dude, how did we not consider e5? No, I'm not Russian, I'm Swiss. Wait, is e5 actually the solution here? What if white tries to use that as a hook? Well, maybe now knight g4. There still is this sacrifice. Hey, Chess Burns, thank you so much for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Oh, but after this we pick up the bishop now. So that doesn't work. Oh, wait, let me give you a little heart. Thank you so much, man. Oh, and about money. I'm finally monetized, guys. After 40,000 subscribers and millions of views on shorts, today I finally got monetized on YouTube. Up until now, every single video I made was you know, for free. And you know, even with the monetization, I think it's not going to be a lot, but at least it's not nothing. So hey, big achievement. So e5 is actually interesting. Okay, I'll put it down as a doubt because I don't want to spend too much time again on this position. I'll say either knight e5 or e5. I can't believe that I didn't think of e5 sooner. Yeah, e5 seems to make a lot of sense. Wait, can I create a poll? Let's see how many of you think... Oh, wait, what did I do? Oops. I didn't want to do that. I want to create a poll about who agrees on 95 and who agrees to e5. So e5 or 95 for this position. All right. Let's see what the majority thinks. So I'll take e5 off the board. Wow, vast majority is voting for e5. Okay, okay. How did you come up with the catchy intro? Honestly, that's what got me watching your channel. You know, these things happen for they happen as an accident. You guys probably haven't seen these videos, but I've been making videos for 3 or 4 months now, and the first 2 months I had close to no views whatsoever. So I don't know if I can actually show you my old videos from here, probably, but like, let me just go to my channel for a second. So if I go on shorts, look at this. We're gonna scroll back a bunch. Look at these videos. They were all very different. It was, you know, I didn't have my setup figured out. I didn't have the colors figured out, the intro, like what I was gonna say. Some videos were puzzles. Some videos were about like chess drama. Like this one is the chess world changing? There is this that is an outdoor challenge, which by the way I want to do again. I went to London and I was challenging people in the street, passersby, and hi Maxwell. Yeah, I bet you remember when I wore nothing. Look at me now. And yeah, all of these videos made like 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 900 views. And then I had this one video. Where is it? I started using the red background actually because I was looking for a way to have to be able to cancel the background. So like this. See this video? In this video here, there is no background because I made the thing with the color where you cancel everything that is red from the video, like kind of like a green screen. What's your age? I'm 24. And so that's the reason why I started having the red background. And then I realized, oh, this actually looks pretty neat because I have this red curtain, and so I kept it. And then after a while, I created this video, Majestic Endgame, and this one was the first one that did very well. And so I tried to figure out like, okay, why this video was different, and I tried to replicate it. And so you see, this is Majestic Endgame, and then this video is Majestic Win, similar setup. I was using the same song, I was using similar techniques, and it did very well again. And so I was like, oh, okay, so people like this. And so I kept doing it, Majestic Gambit, Majestic Trap. And guys, it's literally as simple as that, trial and error. I did a bunch of videos on chess topics and different things. Some of them did better than others. And then there was one that stood out, and I tried to understand what stood out about that video. And you see, like I kept doing the same kind of setup, and then some other videos did well. Like I figured out that these videos here where I show my moves, she's not even that beautiful. I was very proud of this one when I made it. I'm gonna pack my things and leave you behind. And yeah, and then there was this video, which is the one that got me started on this topic. Where is it? It's called Majestic Victory, should be around here. Wow, how many videos have I made? Majestic Victory, there it is. 4.1 million views. And this is the first time where I said fools will resign. Sometimes you will need the effort of all of your soldiers. What happened there? I'm not sure what happened there. Let me see if I can open it. There. Fools. Sometimes you will need the effort of all of your soldiers. What? Okay, not sure what is going wrong there. But okay, in Majestic Victory, basically, I said that intro simply because in general I've always been dramatic, I've always been theatrical, and that position to me, which is this position right here, let me just set it up. Sorry, not like this, like this. So king here, we have pawn, I think it's here, right? No, here. And then we have a rook here and king here. I think this is, yeah, this is the setup. To me, this seems like a position where a lot of inexperienced players will actually resign because they're like, oh, I only have one pawn left and my opponent has a full rook. And then I thought, well, okay, but in almost every line, this is actually a draw. So a good player will draw this. But only if you know the incredible solution of this puzzle, you can actually win. And that's where the idea came from. And I started, oh, fools will resign, wise players will make a draw, but only a true genius can win this. And I didn't think of it as, you know, a catchy intro or anything. I genuinely meant it, and people liked it. And I actually stopped doing that. Like, that was the only video where I said that. And after a while, you guys kept asking for it. And that is why I came back to it and I started saying it again. Black is not that naive. Yeah, exactly. There are a bunch of things that I repeat very often, like, and it seems like black is out of the woods. By the way, for those of you, I imagine all of you or almost all of you have seen this, but just in case, I'll show you. The solution is to push this pawn. The black rook cannot come here or here, of course, because those squares are defended, so it has to check the king. The king cannot come up because this pins the pawn, and the issue in this position is that the rook is always trying to sacrifice itself for the pawn. We cannot come, for example, away from the pawn because, again, the rook picks up the pawn, and if we go down, the rook comes back and picks up the pawn from behind. And I mean, whatever we do, it's simply going to come and take it. If we promote, it's even worse. We now lose the game like this. So because of that, the first move that needs to be found is king b5. This still controls the c file, and this is still controlled by the pawn. Now, the rook, the only way that it has to prevent the promotion is to check. The king goes down, check, the king has to keep going down. If the king ever comes up, the rook just keeps checking us, so we have to keep going down. And now the king can go to c2, because there isn't the skewer threat anymore. And now the interesting move that black can play is rook d4. And this is the point where I got the most questions from people in the comment section. Because at this point, I said, white cannot promote to a queen. And the reason why is because there is this rook c4 sacrifice. And after the queen takes the rook, this is a stalemate. And now, if you're in this live stream, you probably know what stalemate is. But out of those 4 million views, and in particular on Instagram on the same videos, so many people were like, well, the queen can do everything that the rook can do. I don't understand why we cannot get a queen. Despite I explained it in the video. But that's the reason why, because this is a stalemate, and according to the rules of chess, if there are no legal moves, but it's not checkmate, the game ends in a draw, okay? Which is the situation that we're in right now. So we have to take a rook, And what is this is actually the most fascinating part for me about this puzzle, the fact that both sides have a king and a rook. And so for a second you think, what? But now this is a draw. But it isn't. This is won by white. This is a win because we're creating a checkmate threat here, like this. And the only way to stop it is to block with the rook, because if the king goes up, it's the same thing. It's still checkmate. And there are no checks with the rook. This is covered, and this is covered. So literally, this is the only move. And now king b3 attacks the rook and creates another checkmate threat. I love this. And again, there's no way to stop it. Here, a lot of people said, what after king b1? And it's like, bruh. And I'm trying to remember what other comments I saw. Some people saying, oh, you just run away with the rook or something, or like rook a2, and there's this. Oh, and I remember what the comment that I got the most is this. After we push, people said that there is rook d2. And they thought that there is a perpetual check, because I get a queen and check, and if I step here, there is check, and we simply lose the queen. Sorry guys, I'm still a little bit ill, so my voice hurts a little bit. Just give me a second. And so they thought, oh, so this is a draw. And a lot of commenters are actually very arrogant, you know. They see something, then they think it's a solution, and they discard the entire video. They think, oh, this video is so stupid because after rook d2, it's simply a draw. I'm so intelligent. Like, no, bro, this is not a draw. What are you talking about? After the rook check, of course the king is simply going to shuffle between these two files. And eventually come here, and now we go to c3, and you cannot do the skewer. He have to be the next big chess streamer because Pietro is not that naive. Don't ever stop saying that intro. Fools will resign. Great players will draw, but only a true genius will find a win. Do you guys actually like that much? I mean, I'm glad, but I was kind of hoping I could change intro at some point. So by the way, I see that most of you voted for e5, and I have to say I agree. I think that e5 is the better move there. Now, stop distracting me. We have to get back to studying. This is a study live stream, and we're here to learn, we're here to improve. So, next position. Is this clear, by the way? Are there any more doubts about this position? Because I swear, I'm gonna lose it. I've received way too many comments of people that didn't understand this, and I thought it was quite clear from the video. That's why they're fools, yeah. Alright. So, okay, we set e5 for this position. So I'll edit this to, or more likely, e5. Okay, let's go to the next position. So, library. I've prepared so many of these, guys. We're behind. We have 8 more positions to look at. You have to help me with my homework, please. How am I going to win the Amsterdam Open otherwise? Okay. Now, is this from one of my games? I don't know. I remember seeing one that is definitely from my games. I don't think that this one is. I don't remember reaching this position, to be honest. Okay. If I have a think would play knight b5 and you can't prevent knight d6. Oh, now you want me to... wait. I have to check what you mean. e5, knight b5. Well, what does knight d6 achieve, though? I don't think that knight d6 is threatening anything. Hey, Kunal, how are you doing, man? Okay. Thank you, CND04. Oh, I owe you a game, by the way. Don't think that I forgot about you. But this is study live stream. So today probably I'm not going to play games. We'll see. Maybe towards the end of the live stream. Depends how it goes. Okay, so let's look at this position. What weaknesses do we see, guys? Oh, by the way, let's double check that it is white to move. Okay, it is white to move. So what I'm seeing is a hook on g6, which is usually exploited via h4, h5. That might not be right now the priority, but that's something to keep in mind. I see some somewhat loose pawns on a5 and b7. What else? Any weak squares? I mean, maybe d5, although, you know, d5, there can always be e6. So I don't know if we can really call that a weak square. I think here, push a4 to prevent ideas like a4 for black and prevent b5. Well, a4 is never really a problem, right? We have two defenders of a4. And a4 actually creates a hook for black. In the future, there could be b5 exploiting that. So I don't think that's, you know, if we see, for example, b5 at some point happening, which again I don't see how it's going to happen, then maybe we can consider a3 to create this escape. But we need to be very careful about creating hooks, guys. Someone says bishop g5. Well, bishop g5 is not very thematical of an opening like this. The bishop is in a somewhat good open diagonal here. If anything, we should consider bishop h6, getting rid of this very powerful bishop for black. This bishop, look at that. It has every single knight in the game on that same line. So if we can get rid of that bishop, I think we should be quite happy. And as a matter of fact, bishop to h6 might be the move that I would play if I were in a blitz game and I just had to blitz something out. After bishop h6, so if the bishop takes, first of all, we should be super happy that the queen is getting in. Again, I don't see any attacks on the queen side happening anytime soon, and we're just going to storm black with the pawns. The other approach is to go g4, g5, misplace this knight, and then go h4, h5, something like that. This is very thematical, although this becomes somewhat loose. But again, a weakness is only really a weakness if it can actually be exploited. This is something very important to remember. Yes, h4, I think it's definitely a reasonable move. We do need to consider what happens after something like h5. We might be able to get away with g4, although yeah, actually no, maybe not. g4 definitely not. And after h4, h5. I mean, I think this is still a healthy move to play. It's not bad. The question is it best? Knight c4 is a black threat. Well, knight c4 we can take with the bishop. I don't know, guys. I don't like a4. Although a4 does create an outpost for the knights. That I have to admit. a4, is there a way to exploit a4? I guess. Ah, interesting. Because if they go here, we can simply create the outpost. Oh my. You guys might actually be right here. A4 might be interesting because after all, what the coach has told me to look for mainly is hooks, outposts, and weak squares. So A4 might actually be the solution because we create an outpost. And the thing is, if we go bishop h6, we might miss out on the chance to create that outpost. The question is how? Like, do we actually miss out that opportunity? Oh, wait. We do? Isn't there a rook sacrifice? We can't take with the queen because we lose this. Oh, but we can simply take here first. What I was thinking is this. Takes and pawn push. And the bishop is trapped. But if we take here, what if the bishop re-sacrifices itself? We keep eating. The rook escapes. The bishop escapes. Yeah, so maybe we can get away with bishop h6 first. Because I don't see a way to stop a4 anyway. Well, I understand, Bob, what you mean about it stopping black's play, but black doesn't have any play anyway. But okay, you know what? I think you guys have convinced me. Let's go with a4, but I think I'm gonna write down a4 to create a strong knight outpost. Right. Okay, next position. Let's see. Wait, no, this is the one we just looked at. There. Okay, is it white to move? Yes. Is this from one of my games? Hard to say. Actually, it might be. It might be. Okay. So the first thing that I see is that both kings are, you know, safe. But if the back rank ever becomes weak, there are going to be back rank checkmate problems. Just something I thought I'd mention. Of course, we need to address the fact that there's some tension here. Fatima, what is it about this thing about potatoes? I see so many comments in Indian asking me if I want a potato. Is this like an Indian meme or something? Let's see, someone said Rook c3 is a big threat. Rook c3? How so? Okay, what are the main weaknesses here? Let's think about that for a second. Well, the bishop is somewhat of a bad bishop because it's on the same colors as these pawns. We have pretty good knights. I like these knights. We could almost call this an outpost because there's no way to push the knight out, although it's not defended by one of our pawns. If we take here, we're helping this bishop to open up. And I mean, what are we trying to do here? Also, this would give an outpost to the knight here. So I think that taking is out of the question, as well as pushing is, because of this. So b3 remains on b3. So once we've decided that, we now realize that b3 is actually attacked a bunch. There's 1, 2, 3 attackers and only 1, 2 defenders. Oh no, 3 defenders. Okay, there's 3 defenders on b3, so we don't need to defend it anymore. You know what? A thing that I noticed is the fact that the king is a little bit left on his own. All of the black pieces are on this side. Is that relevant? I guess that's the question. Yeah, exactly. His king looks under defended. You remind me of this streamer Toonish. I don't know if you're saying this because of the collaboration, but if you haven't seen it, go check out my collaboration with Toonish. If this is my game, I would go with h4 and queen d3 followed by h5 and knight g5. I don't know, h4 seems like a plan that takes a long time. It's kind of a little bit hopeful, isn't it? Anime, what do you mean how to unlock pre-moves? Just go on settings, bro. Knight g5 and queen f3. I was thinking of queen g5 for a second, actually. Although after queen g5, we do lose this pawn. Oh no, we don't. Do we? This is actually quite crazy. Look at how many attackers we can add. Every single piece can defend and every single piece can attack, and now we're simply winning a piece. So knight g5, queen g5, maybe it's playable, but I mean, what are we trying to achieve here? So no. And same thing for knight g5, guys. Knight g5 looks like a forward move, an aggressive move. We get into the opponent's side of the board, but what are we attacking? Like h6, and where is the knight going? The knight has to go back. I'm not playing myself. I'm analyzing positions. This is homework that I've received from my coach. I think it has to be queen c3. Need to play on the queen side. Yeah, queen c3 is queen c3 is interesting. I was thinking of that as well, but I do wonder if after this, like what do we do here? Because if trades, let's say something like this, bishop takes, what's the goal? Where are we going? What are we trying to achieve? I guess we can go knight d3 and prepare the b4 push. Because let's say something like this, b4 and here, and we can take. But now this is a passed pawn, although our king is going to be able to come and stop it. So maybe we can play something like a3, and now we forever have a protected passed pawn. And we'll come and stop this one. And we still have a 4-on-4 here. So something like this maybe, if this we take. So this came from queen c3. We could also go knight d2 right away, although knight d2 is kind of banking on the fact that we at some point are going to be able to create another entry point, which is not a given, you know. But we might also be trying to play f4. So for example, if this now f4, and we maintain a pawn in the center. That's actually quite interesting, I think. Knight to d2. Okay, I'm going to create a poll with our suggestions. Let's see what you guys think. So we have queen c3 and knight d2 with our as our main ideas here. I just created it. Would knight f5 be too aggressive? No, knight f5 would be a blunder. No, no, no. You can pre-move on your phone as well. H4, I do not consider it an option here. 92 is just worse than on f3. Well, I don't agree because we're trying to play f4 and then we can always come back to f3. And from d2, I think it's covering c4, which could be an important square. So we might be threatening to push here at some point. And since the rook remains on this file, black cannot offer a trade, you know, because if queen here, we take the queen, which is kind of the drawback of going queen c3. Well, we're not trying to find a knockout blow here, guys. We're basically trying to come up with a plan, with a way to go forward. This is the classical middle game position where, you know, there is no solution, or like there are some moves that are clearly better than others, and these are the type of positions where there is the difference between a grandmaster and you know, a very strong club player. Knight d2 to look for rook c7 in the future after b4. Well, but how are we going to land the rook on c7? Although, now that you mention it, rook to c3 is somewhat interesting, because we're trying to play queen to c1. And basically, we simply have a better battery and complete domination of that file. What do we think of rook c3? Wait, can I add that to the poll? Yeah, I think me and Tunish are definitely planning to do something together in a live stream, Chad. Yeah, knight to d2. You know, my only reservation with knight to d2, guys, is the fact that if nothing happens, it's not clear what the knight is doing there. So, like, let's say that black plays a waiting move, okay? Let's say rook to a7 and kind of trying to come here or something. I guess f4 is our idea. And then something like this. Well, actually, maybe now we can come back knight to f3, and we simply achieved f4. If takes takes, we still control the file. Although this might now be a hook. Is it? h6. But now the queen comes in. Oh no, wait. Here, don't we just lose the pawn, actually? Let's say here. No, because we have this. Again. This would be very hard to spot in a blitz game, though. Diogo, if you can find where to enable the pre-moves, look online. I don't know it off the top of my head. Yeah, exactly. I lose the pawn. Yeah, this one, guys, I don't really know. Okay, so we spent already a lot of time. Even if we are in a classical game, we wouldn't be spending all of this time in this position. I would probably be spending like 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes in this position in a classical game, depending on how much clock I have left, how much clock I have, how much time on the clock I have. And I see that it's 50-50 between queen c3 and knight to d2. Queen c3 I don't like simply because there is this trade-off, this trade-offer. Although maybe we do want to trade and just kind of get into a comfortable endgame like this. We win the pawn. And if bishop back, we have... Ooh! Wait a minute. But now the knight has an outpost, but so do we. Here. This might actually be quite interesting. Oh no, wait. We lose this pawn like this. But we have... Yeah, no, actually, this is probably a draw. What if we just push here? He does gain the outpost, though. That's so annoying. And he's defending a3. Nah, this can't be it. Unless we go now knight d2. And we're trying to push. The bishop has to come back. And we already looked at this. But I feel like that's too deep. Like, who would calculate that from here? Honestly. Like, who would calculate that from here? And the third final option that we had considered was rook c3. And rook c3 I also liked. I don't remember actually why we discarded this. Is there some kind of f6 here? Oh, actually, yes. You know what? On queen c3, there might actually also be a f6. And now we need to take, and I don't like this conversion. Black has the entire center. Plus 0 on h4. I can tell you. I can tell you why not. Because h4 is too slow. It doesn't achieve anything. Like, let's say that black allows us to do whatever we want. Let's say it goes here and we push. There's always going to be, for example, just h6. And what have we pushed h4 for? We spent 2 moves and we basically just gave a free move to black to come up with his own plan. So I am leaning towards either rook c3, although there is f6. You know what? For f6, knight d2 comes back to mind to play f4. Okay, I'm gonna say knight d2 to play f4 against f6. And I'm gonna tell you guys after the lesson what was the answer. So knight d2 to counter f6 with f4. All right, let's move on. Next position. Oh wait, did I save in the other ones? I don't think I have actually. Maybe they automatically saved. Oh nope, it didn't. Okay, quickly, what did we say on this one? This one was rook a5, right? Rook a5. So I didn't save. So comment before rook a5 to control d5 and swing the f rook to a1. Save. Okay. Then the second one. This way we're also double checking what we said. I don't know if it is too big of a concession to play f6 from black, because we are in an endgame and realistically I don't have an attack there. This position, it was black to move and we said e5 here, right? So I'm gonna write e5. e5 to open up lines and control the center. Yeah, and then this position here we had said a4, and this one is the position that I feel the most confident about. I have to say that it is a4 the solution, because black is paralyzed here. Black cannot really do anything but allow us to have the outpost, and that outpost looks very juicy. So a4 to create a strong outpost, and then I'm going to add possibly follow up with bishop h6. Save. Okay, the next one we did save. Yeah, let's look at this. I know that I'm going very slow, guys, and I know that this is not going to be interesting for everybody, but it is going to be very useful for everybody who's watching, at least. Hello, Sushil. Okay. So is it white to move here? Oh, it's black to move. All right. Interesting. This I feel like is one of my games, isn't it? This looks like a position I could have gotten. I don't remember. Actually, let me see if I recognize my games. Okay, this one is an endgame. Doesn't look like my type of position. This doesn't. Okay, the one that I remember that it is from one of my games, I think was around here. Yes, this one. And actually, some of you might recognize this from a live stream. Okay, let's see. Who recognizes this game? Where is this game from? I already said that I played this in live, but yeah, I closed the poll. So this position here was achieved, I think, from a form of Sicilian, if I remember correctly. I'm waiting for someone to guess what is this game. Hey, Filippo. Hello. Come on. I'm sure that some of you can remember. Look at this position very carefully. Where does it come from? What do we think? I'm waiting. No! What do you mean CNZ04? You have no clue. You were there. Okay, I'll show you. Yes, praise Jesus. And I think you were there too. This is this position. Wow, I'm opening way too many tabs. It's my highest rated win.
Fools will resign.
Oh, come on.
Players. Oh, is this a draw? Oh, this is me.
Where is it?
Fool cowards will fool. This is fools. Sometimes the most puns are fascinating. Fools will. Let's go.
Not this one. This one here. This one.
Challenge. He can win a
Look,
pawn.
it's this. Look at that.
Not the best game to start the evening, is it? This knight is.
This is my highest rated win ever. At least online. My highest rated win period is the Candidate Master. So this was a game against 2161. Hello, what advice do you give me for World Chess Championship? Dude, if you're playing the World Chess Championship, I feel like you need to give me advice. Yeah, there you go. Now you remember. Someone says, but this position is just horrible. I mean, I won this game, so you know. Yeah, no, it's not good. It's not a good position. I would imagine that white is quite better here. Yeah, look at that. Okay, right. So it's black to play. What did I play in the game actually? I don't remember. So I saw that the suggestion of the engine there was a5, but these type of exercises do not have, you know, a one clear solution. So it has already been the case where sometimes the best move suggested by the engine is not the best move, period. So let's think about this regardless, okay? Okay. Now I'm really curious about what I played in the game. I can't stop thinking about it. I feel like maybe I actually did play a5. Because that seems like a very natural move. But okay, let's try to think of this differently. Now that I think about it, maybe I had played something like Queen B6? Nah. That I had done earlier in the game. And then I had come back. So the biggest issue here is this bishop. Like, what is this bishop doing? It's mainly defending this pawn. And by the way, the pawn is simply hanging. How can we defend it, first of all? So we could play, for example, Queen F6 to try and defend that pawn. Bishop F4. Well, Bishop F4, don't we just wait? Tamara, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, what is that currency? CHF? What does that mean? I've never seen that in my life. Wait, YouTube is telling me that this is my first super in a live stream? Damn. Yeah, a5, guys, is the move that the engine was suggesting. I have my reservations on a5 because we lose a pawn. Right? You think that e5 is a must here? No, Bob, e5. We just create another outpost and look at these knights. No, I don't like e5. Someone says aggressive line with rook f6, bishop h4, g5, knight g5, and rook g6. So, okay, rook f6, bishop h4, g5, knight g5, and rook g6. Oh, that's quite creative. I do wonder if there's something like this for white. What's your plan here? No, Bob, getting the bishop out is not worth it for like, because it's not only a pawn. It's not only a pawn. We're giving an outpost. This is under attack. There are two outposted knights. We have no control of the center anymore. This knight can always get kicked out in the future. No, I think that e5 is actually a blunder. They can put something on e5 even if we play e5. Hey Peter, I have an upcoming tournament. The players are mainly 1500, so what opening should I prepare for? Need help. Don't prepare for openings. You can't control what your opponents are going to play. You might sit at a board and your opponent is going to play 1a6. So, sorry, 1a3. So, my best suggestion for you is prepare your openings, your repertoire. So, if you are, a d4 player, review your lines in d4. Don't do like preparation in fear of what is going to get played, and instead focus on tactics and end games and principles, that kind of stuff. Yeah, but if you leave the bishop there, how do you want to move anything? Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So a5 I think is interesting. We lose the pawn, but we get rid of this annoying knight. And if we take, oh, actually we win back the pawn like this. If the rook takes, we can take like this actually. A5, A3. What's the idea here? Actually, let's have a look at what I played in the game. I think I remember. I remember the profile picture of the guy. So let me just go on archive, game history. It was a rapid game, so let's look for rapid. Oh, I can't see the profile pictures here, so I need to search for the name. But luckily we can look on YouTube. Shorts. My highest rated win. Where is it? Chumanix. Okay. Tamara, what are you doing? Stop. Stop. Keep your money. Keep your money. Guys, Tamara is a friend from Switzerland. I don't know why she's giving me money. I'll send it back. Okay, so sorry, I got distracted. Game history. And we want to find Chumanix. How do I search for a specific name here? There. Opponent. There it is. Come on. We'll get there. We'll get there. So the position is... Oh, I did play a5. I did play a5 in the game. Oh, and the guy is online. Ooh. I did play a5. He did go here. And now I went knight f4. He went there. I feel like I played this quite well, actually, didn't I? I feel like I played this very well. Why did he give me this position as an exercise? Huh, this is actually quite confusing. Is it that knight f4 is not the correct approach? Is it bishop f4 as the other guy was saying? Because if takes, rook takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, and takes. Oh, wait a second. Takes, and takes? Or here? But then outpost, and this can't take? Oh, wow, this is more complicated than I realized. Wow. But what if the knight just ignores us and comes in? Can we still take and take? I mean, we can take here, but now the queen can take. Wow. Well, this was a rapid game, so I couldn't do much. Hey, I am Ash. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Great stuff. No, why are you thanking me? Thank you. So, okay, well, I feel like I played that pretty well. So what I'm gonna write to my coach is like, how dare you telling me that I need to use this as an exercise? Okay, let's do this. I feel like a5 was good, so I'm going to leave that in. And this. And I wonder if my opponent messed up and after knight to f4 there was something better for him that he missed. Something like queen here maybe, adding even more pressure to the pawn. Okay, Bob, just to Gabriele, what are you doing? What what are you guys doing? Stop. Stop donating money. Guys, these are my friends from Switzerland. What are you doing? Stop. Okay, Bob, just to show you that e5, I'm positive is not the move. Look at that. We lose an entire point of evaluation. The chat is really cool. There are 190 views and almost no comments. Well, it's shorts, you know. People come in and leave, and people are free to watch without commenting. That's fine. Pietro, I'm going to under 16 chess world chess championship, so please give me an advice. I am not high rated. What? How are you going to a world chess championship and you're not high rated? I don't believe that, man. I mean, I don't believe that you're not high rated. You're probably above 2000, aren't you? Okay. Right, I'm gonna write down a5 and say we're trying to mine the pawn structure, and we are going to follow up. We're going to follow up with what? After a3. I kind of really still want to play knight f4, which is what I played. Which is wrong if we're here, I guess. The only other move that I would consider is maybe something like queen f6 or rook f6 to defend this. But then knight jumps in and attacks here. And we actually have no way to defend that. Oh, these positions are tough. Okay, to make a change, I'm going to say bishop f4. And I'm going to add a little joke. I'm going to say we're going to follow up with bishop f4 because I played knight to f4 and there must be a reason why you gave me this for homework. There. Okay. So we still have half an hour and I think we have just about like 3 positions left. So this, okay, this is all pawns. Interesting. How are we feeling? Are we still awake? We're an hour and a half into studying. I know this is tiring, guys, but it's very helpful stuff. Okay, it's white to move. Right, it is clear that white is playing for an advantage here because these pawns cannot advance. This b4 push is very, very valuable there. So if I was playing like a bullet or blitz game, I would go c3 because I'm trying to just get the king in to the center. It is pretty evident that c5 is a big weakness. And as a matter of fact, it might be even more effective to just go king b2, king c3, king d4, and king c5 and try to pick up this. So let's see, king here, 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 and here. And he stops us from coming in. Although now we have this push. King goes back and king c5. The king comes to attack the pawn. We have f4. The king comes down to attack the pawn. We have g3. The king comes down, and now we pick this up and we win. Right? Someone says c4. c4 is good if the pawn takes, but the pawn doesn't have to take. Same thing for a4. If we play a4, it's good if the pawn takes, but the pawn doesn't have to take. All right, James, you're getting timed out. There we go. Thank you, Abdallah. Neither c4 or a4 are the right idea, I don't think. No. Apart from the fact that they're pawn sacrifices, and I don't see the need for that. So I am thinking king b2 and this idea of going to c5 as fast as possible. So are there any other suggestions? Because I'm pretty confident about my idea. Oh wait, I see the point. Ah, yes, you guys are trying to go here, right? But you know, the thing that I'm not too happy about here is that now we actually made it harder for our king to access these weaknesses. Because all of a sudden the king doesn't have an entry point. Look at that. So for example, let's say something like this. And king here. Let's prevent the king from going there. And now maybe a push and we push back. And the king cannot actually go forward. We actually helped black here, in my opinion. While if we go king b2 right away, we do have access to the weaknesses. So, okay. I'm going to say king b2 to reach c5 and we're winning, basically. Although, wait a second. King b2, king f8, king c3, king e7, king d4, king e6, e5, king back, king to c5, king e5, we defend the pawn, the king takes, the king goes down. Oh no, we defend the pawn, the king goes down, then we have to push. Oh damn, I lost track. Okay, let's try again. King b2, king here, king here, 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 check, go here. Oh, we cannot go to c5 without losing the pawn right away, but that might still be winning. Here, takes, here, and we're at least picking up another pawn. The king might try to come, but yeah, but now we win this and we're completely winning, right? Yeah, I think that has to be it. Okay, let's go king b2, guys. So king b2, and we run to c5, and if the king stops us, we push e5. Oh, what happened here? Okay. Yeah, I think this is, we can agree on this one, right? Let's look what else we have. Did we already look at this one? No, right? What is it? Black to move? Yes. Oh no, we did look at this one. Didn't we? Wait. I already forgot. No, we didn't. We didn't look at this one, right? Thank you, Abdallah, for shutting out the Discord. Yeah, there is a Discord, guys. Join it. You can send your games, you can talk about chess, you can play against each other, we can have fun. Okay, so my first instinct in a position like this is to simply go h3 and create some holes. And I think that h3 is a healthy move that we can play regardless. h3, g3, and how do we follow up? Actually, I guess the issue with h3 is that white blocks, and I'm not sure we've actually achieved anything. Although h3, g3, bishop d4, king moves, knight f5, rook here, castles. I don't know, that seems a little bit foggy. Bishop d4, h3, and knight f5 look good. Yeah, that's what I was calculating. Can you pin the Discord link? I can try. Let me see. Yeah, there. But it's also on the channel page. Let's see. Okay, let's think about this more concretely. What are the weaknesses? I feel like this diagonal is pretty weak. What about squares, hooks, and outposts? d4 is an outpost. We can reach d4 via f5. I feel like that would be decent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, knight f5 is definitely a good move, I think. There's no doubt about that. Something like this, and now the king would probably shuffle here. The rook is fine here. Even if the pawn is blocked, it can always come out like this. This is nothing because of en passant. So that's definitely an option. Let's keep that in mind. Knight f5. I'll keep it in mind for the poll. Bob is saying, I think bishop d4, king h1, knight f5, knight g3. So wait, bishop d4, king h1, knight f5 and knight g3. Ah, I see. Interesting. Yeah, you're trying to go for checkmate. Smart. And if this, we have a fork. If the bishop takes, there's no checkmate though. Maybe now something like h3. Oh no, wait, it's white to move. What does white do here? White will probably try to get rid of this. We actually haven't achieved much. That's quite annoying. Instead of castling, you can go king f8, looking for knight g3. Well, yeah, but there's the issue is always that the bishop takes whenever the knight lands there. That's the big issue, guys. That's the big issue. Hmm. But I guess we don't even have to take with the bishop. We might get away with taking like this and create some kind of lines of attack. Is this a thing? By the way, we need to figure out whether we want to push h3 or not. Yeah, no, this looks like the typical position that I would play where I think, oh, I'm creating so many weaknesses, and actually white is consolidating. Let's see, try taking the bishop there first. With what? Then bishop takes back and you have threats of bishop e4 checkmate. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I can't take this bishop in any way. Oh, what I can do is go bishop f5, because now, of course, if the bishop takes, we come here, and now there's no way to prevent us from going to the outpost. I feel like this is a better version. If this... what if that? Wait. Okay. Throwing this check in, I feel like is very healthy, because now the king is always going to be on this line. And maybe now bishop here. If the bishop takes, there's always going to be this threat. If the bishop doesn't take, we're going to remove it and then come with the knight there. So for example, here, takes, we get out of the way and we're preparing knight f5. Bishop f5, didn't see what to do on bishop f3. Well, bishop f3 is a move that is becoming a little bit passive, right? We've gained more control now of this diagonal, and that's an achievement in on itself. Or at least that's my idea around this. Which might be wrong. But basically the argument is that after bishop f5, either white needs to make some kind of concession or give us the knight jump forward. So what if actually, like, let's say the queen comes here. Now I feel like we need to take, move away. Now the rook can come here, but now we move. We still have the threat of knight here, which is actually nearly unstoppable. Completely unstoppable. Wait, what? What if the knight takes and knight here? Now the knight is defending that. But is it? The knight might not be defending, actually. Because let's say here, what if I go knight g3 anyway? Oh no, wait. Yeah, maybe not. But nonetheless, I mean, having the knight on f5 seems very healthy. I don't know if you want to avoid trades here because more lemon. If you think you saw it, please tell us. Well, but that's the thing, Abdul. I don't think that h3 is on the way because after h3 there's always going to be g3, right? Hmm. Yeah, that's what happens when you when you hit the F key. Um, guys, my elo is just above 2000, like 2050. Okay, guys. Since we're approaching the end and I want to do one more position, I'm going to stick to starting with bishop d4 check and then going bishop f5. So comment before bishop d4 check. Where's the plus on this keyboard? There. Followed by bishop. What was it? f5, right? Bishop f5. Trying to force white to make concessions. Okay, let's save. And let's look at the last position. We looked at this one. We didn't look at this one. This is going to be the last one for today. Light, stop flirting. What are you doing? So actually, I had a brief look at this position like 20 seconds before the stream because I was preparing this for to have them for the live stream, and I thought for a second that there was castling, and this rook comes here and it's checkmate, but no, because the bishop takes and prevents the rook from coming there. But let's imagine that like any other move, so like pawn here, and this is literally checkmate, I think, right? Yeah. Maybe take with the bishop. We keep the king trapped. And now, actually the king escapes. But well, we won a bishop. So that would be devastating, but it fails to bishop takes c3. So of course, bishop takes c3 is the big threat. No, Abdel, I didn't finish. I think I only have one position left after this one. So, okay, it looks like we have a choice of do we want to lose this pawn for activity or not? I feel like that's the question here. The answer might be long castles here and something like this to get some kind of activity. The bishop has to come back here because it has to guard this. But now we have this. And how in the world is black escaping? Oh, I guess again this, right? Yeah, this might actually be an escape route for black. Although it looks pretty active for white. What are we thinking? Bishop a5, then c3. We can't go to a5. Let's see, what are you guys saying? Rook d3 after bishop c3. Yeah, that's what I just looked at. So castles, bishop takes, and rook d3. And after the bishop moves, we actually we can give this check. That's something I didn't consider. Oh, very interesting actually. Because the king has to step here, and now we have both rooks on open files. if this, he's locking in his own rook. If this, I mean, can we even do something like this? Look at this position. And if the king comes here, we come in, and now we're winning back pawns. So I feel like, okay, is there anything else? Castles here. Yeah, no, he cannot come back here because we give this check and it's game over. He cannot do anything else because he loses the bishop, so he has to go bishop a5. And by the way, if he doesn't take to begin with, then let's say castles. Wait, he cannot castle. Oh, he has to take. He has to take because any other move it allows us to come here. So yeah, it has to be long castling, right? This has to be the solution. Long castling, rook d3. Okay, I'm just gonna write it down. So long castling, black bishop has to take, rook d3, and follow up with checks. Agreed? f5, Pietro, f5. F5? What for? Why do you want to play f5, green wizard? I don't understand. So castles, bishop takes c3, rook d3, bishop a5, c3. Well, we don't have to go c3. We saw that there is rook here, which is probably stronger because now the king has to step out and come here, right? Yeah, exactly. Rook e3 checks. E3 check looks like the answer because this we come in and it's slaughter. Something like this, we can even bring the other rook. If oops, what is going on? If this rook comes in, we can probably take, I guess. They can come here, and we're attacking this. And if push, we win. So he has to come here. Oh, wait, but now we win the rook. Yeah, no, this is devastating. Come on, guys. The king won't be able if f5. Yeah, but we don't have time to play f5, right? Like, when do you want to play f5? Here? The king escapes via this square, not here. The king escapes on this side. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Light, for subscribing from another account. Yeah, road to 100,000. Well, let's take it slow. Road to 50,000 first. Although, I feel like a YouTube target would definitely help with my very empty background here. You know, 100,000 subscribers right here. That would be nice. Ari says, why not c3? Well, because it's slower, right? If we go c3, black has time to do something. For example, come here now and escape like this. I guess, maybe is this where you guys were saying f5? And now this? And here? But now I think there's this. Remember, guys, that every move you play, you're giving a move to your opponent. For every move you play, your opponent plays a move. So we can't afford to lose time. I think that rook a3 is by far superior. Now, would I find this in a game? Actually, maybe. Actually, maybe. I'll give myself the, the doubt there. How do you say? The benefit of the doubt. Okay, well, that's not every single position, but I think we did quite a lot for today. How many did we have left? We didn't look at this one. We did look at this one. So we had 2 left. Overall, 8 positions in 2 hours. I know, guys, that was a lot of work. A lot of brain power being used. Thank you so much for engaging so much. It's really not that easy to watch a live stream like this one where it's just study all the time. So I really appreciate you guys. I hope you learned something, just like I did. These were very high level exercises, so don't feel like you suck if you struggled with them or if you didn't understand them fully. Like I think I didn't understand them most of the times. So thank you so much for being here. The next live stream is going to be back to playing games. We're going to be playing some blitz games against each other. It's going to be fun. If you want a game, don't forget to come by. It's going to be on Saturday, the next live stream. And love you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening or morning or afternoon or whatever time it is, or night. And I'll see you next